my slideshows with you. Where is it? So many screens. Okay, here. Hope everyone is doing fine this afternoon on Saturday and join us here. Okay, so 1 second. Okay, now it's happening. Share my screen. Okay. Okay, everyone, thank you so much for being here. So we are Brasília Toastmasters, a club from Brasília. So I'm going to send a few notes about our meeting guide. As I said before, please leave your microphone on mute unless we ask you to unmute so you can help us have a nice meeting, and don't interrupt our speakers. We do use here the applause in the sign language, okay? So you can send your cheers for every of the speakers or people that do some roles today. So when we do ask, please send good vibes for them. Try to use the word of the day. In a few minutes, Vanessa is going to share the word of the day with us. So every time we use the word of the day, we're going to give a thumb up for the person who did that, so we can say that she or he did use the word. And we are going to use Aletheia as a timer. And the right time, we are going to ask you to pin her video so you can see the whole screen changing colors for you. So any of the speakers today, in the right time, I'm going to remember you about that. And as I mentioned before, we do keep our meetings recorded in the YouTube, so our members can see them after that. And for our guests here, maybe you are going to be afraid of being here in the first time. So guests are not mandatory for you to speak. You can be our guest, just keeping watching and listening for us. After the meeting, we're going to close the meeting and starting talking Portuguese again, so you can give your feedback. It's really important for us to hear what you have to say to us. In Brasília Toastmasters, we have a club mission that is to develop public speaking and leadership skills through active participation, inclusive experience, and continuous learning. This is the Brazilian Toastmasters mission. For you that don't know, Toastmasters is an international organization with non-profit that teaches public speaking and leadership skills through a worldwide network of clubs. We have now been in more than 140 countries, and we have today more than 16,000 clubs. And as members, we are more than 358,000 members around the world. So you here, guests, know that we are joining or learning something about something that's huge and can help a lot to grow yourself as a leader or communicator. This is for you to know how is important Toastmasters for some corporations. So this is a small example of corporate clubs that we have around the world. All of these companies sponsors Toastmasters clubs inside of them because they know that better communicators in their employee list is going to be better for the company and better leaders. So understand that Toastmasters indeed has a great potential for some of you that maybe didn't know until now. So today is August 8th. We are going to have some people that is going to help me today. I'm going to be your Toastmasters. Toastmaster is the person that is going to take care of the meeting this afternoon. Is the person that's going to speak about the roles that's going to be happening, and I'm going to conduct this meeting. And I can't do that by myself. As I mentioned before, we have thousands of members in Toastmasters Club around the world. And all of them are volunteers that during the meeting help us and help others, members of the club, so they can grow and go better. So for today, I'm going to have the help of Aletheia Melo, that's going to be our timer. And I would like, Aletheia, please, for you to show to the members how you are going to show the time for them. I'm going to stop sharing my screen so everyone can see Aletheia Melo.
Hello. So I'm gonna show you. Let me give me a second. I will be like that. And in green one, yellow, and red.
Thank you, Aletheia. So for all of you that are guests, we have a time that's going to be the table talk session, and the guests, if they want, they can participate. So in the right time, I'm going to show you again how the time is going to work, so you can take care of your speech and don't care about the time, because Aletheia is going to do that for us. And we do have a counter. Rodrigo Ramos from SB Nights, there's another club here in Brasília. He's going to help us count off the filler words. The filler words are words that we sometimes use when we don't know what to say. So maybe and am, when you stop to thinking and just use words that don't enrich your speech. So Rodrigo Ramos is going to take note of that, and at the right time, he's going to deliver his report about that. And do believe that for the first timers here in Toastmasters, the accounter is one of the most important roles. His feedback can really improve your speech really fast when it's concerned about using or not filler words. Another help I'm going to have today is going to be Vanessa da Silva. As I mentioned before, Vanessa is going to be our grammarian, and soon she is going to share the word of the day so we can try to use that in our speeches. And we do have today a Hark Master. Hark Master is going to be today Maria Iracema. Hark Master is the person responsible to keep us really listening to our speakers today. She's going to take notes and make some questions in the end of the meeting, and everyone can open your microphone in the right time and give their answer. The Hark Master is responsible to keep us really taking care about our listening skills during the meeting. And we do have an international friend today, Shana Mauzi. She is from Mozambique. It's one of our friends here in Brasília Toastmasters, and she's going to deliver one of the most funny moments in the Toastmasters Club meeting. The Toastmasters is responsible to take place with the impromptu speeches. They are small speeches from 1 minute to 2 minutes, and everyone can join that. We have really unknown the questions, and she's going to deliver one question and ask anyone of you to participate. And we do have today making 2 roles, Daniel Beck. He is going to be our video and our audio monitor. He is going to give the best practice for some of you that maybe don't have the best look in your camera, or maybe have some light or audio issues. And he's going to perform one of the most important roles in Toastmasters Club. He is going to be our general evaluator. Daniel is going to be responsible to see how the meeting was handled from the beginning of the meeting until the end. And he's going to take note about that, and he's going to evaluate the performance of our evaluators today. So to begin, I'd like now to invite Vanessa da Silva to open her microphone and talk to us about our words of the day. Please, Vanessa, welcome her.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am going to be the grammarian today, and I chose a challenge for us. I chose 2 linking words for you to try. Linking words are words we use to organize our ideas, and there's a huge variety of linking words. However, we tend to always use the same ones. I chose 2 linking words to try in 2 situations. The first situation is to present a consequence. We tend to use the word so for that, but today I want to invite you to use the word thus. The second situation is to illustrate an idea. We tend to use for example for that, but today I want to invite you to use the word for instance. If we use different linking words, we are going to sound more articulate, more sophisticated. So it's an important item for you to try. I brought 2 examples using these linking words. The first one is is I rehearsed my speech repeatedly, thus I was calm during my presentation. The second one, I observed several remarkable aspects during your presentation. For instance, your vocal variety. I want the other members to give a thumbs up for everyone who chooses to use one of these options because it's not an easy task. Good luck for everyone. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Vanessa. That's really impressive. I really like the English meetings because we can learn a lot from that. So it's really nice to know words that sometimes I can't remember when I listen to this word, but sometimes don't know how or where to use them. So, for instance, I believe that today is going to be a great day to start using that word. So thank you so much. So now we are going to move to our prepared speeches. These are people that prepare their speech in their room and they enhance that and they're going to deliver that speech today. The first speaker of this afternoon is going to be King Gibson. And he's doing the dynamic leadership path in Toastmasters. And the project that's going to be presented today is going to be understanding your leadership style. The object of this project is going to be King, he has trained at home in the Toastmasters platform about his best or most, how can I say, the most obvious leadership style for him. And after that, he's delivered and write a speech that he's going to deliver today. Ana Paula Fernandes is going to be his evaluator. And the title of his speech is Being Assertive Without Being Aggressive. Is it possible? King Gibson, being assertive without being aggressive. Is it possible? Please welcome King Gibson.
Hello, Alessandro. Guys, I have some slides to present, so I want you to confirm with you if you can see my slides before starting. Can you see them?
Yes, King.
Great. So, good afternoon. I'm going to speak about communication styles, and I have done a test at Toastmasters website to find which one is my favorite, my preferred communication style. And the title is Being Assertive Without Being Aggressive. Is it possible? That's a question that I have been asking myself for a long time, and I'm willing to answer it now for you. First, I would like you to reflect about this question. How many times have you regretted using the wrong tone of voice or choosing poorly your words? I can say for myself that I have regretted this a couple of times. And that's why today I'm trying to keep in mind which is my preferred communication style so I can work on it. And there are 4 kinds of communication styles: initiating, analytical, supportive, and direct. And the last one is my preferred communication style, the direct one. Let's see a little bit of each of those kind of communication styles. The first one is that person who's more sociable. That's that friendly person that you meet and you get friends with her very easily. They like to be acceptable. They like to be in good relationships. And they prefer, that's why they prefer friendly work environments, where there is a thin line between being a workmate and being a friend. There is also the analytical type. They are more precise, more logical, and they are very much organized and purposeful. That's why they prefer structured and functional places to work, but they don't make friends that easily because they prefer a private life. They don't talk too much about themselves. They like to talk about information, data, and they are more prone to business than to friendship. There is also the supportive type of communication. They are more calm, more gentle, and they are very good listeners. They are active listeners. They really pay attention to what you're talking about. And that's why they are very dependable. They know what you need and they're willing to help you anytime you want. But they hate conflicts. So they avoid them as much as possible. And the last but not least, the direct communication style. They are more independent, confident, and very, very much goal-oriented. They want to see results. That's why they are so much focused. Sometimes there is a problem of being too much direct in your communication style. You may be perceived, for instance, as demanding, as rude, and that may make people feel offended by your words. That's why we need to bear in mind how to deal with this direct communication style so we don't get feelings hurt. We have to avoid being blunt. When you talk too directly and you don't keep in mind what people will feel about this, they may see it as aggressive, even though you just wanted to say the truth. On the other hand, if you don't speak your mind, if you keep shut down and you don't say what you're feeling, you may be seen as passive and someone may take advantage of you. And that's also a bad thing. And you don't want to go that direction. So what's the way we can find between being aggressive and being passive? The answer is being assertive. How to be assertive? That's the $1 million question that I'm willing to ask right now. When you are aggressive, you state what you want. I want this, and you make everything to get there. When you are being passive, you pay attention too much on other people's feelings, and you don't take attention on what you want, what you need. Being assertive is meeting halfway between being aggressive and being passive. You compromise with other people. So finding this balance is key to achieve a more efficient communication with your peers, with your classmates, with your family, or whatever environment you are in. And I have read a book and I have made a course last year about something called the nonviolent communication. And that's a way I found of being assertive without being aggressive. And I'm gonna tell you the 4 steps of a nonviolent communication. First of all, you have to observe what has happened. This happened, you said this, concrete things, but without judging. We don't want to judge anyone in this part. You just want to observe impartially. After that, you can tell the person how you felt about that situation. So this happened and it made me feel like this. So you communicate your feelings to the person without being judgmental. And after that, you make a request and pay attention. Make a request, not make an order, because that's being aggressive. You ask, are you willing to cooperate? Are you willing to do this in order to do that? And you tell them why you want them to cooperate. You say what you need. I need you to do this. So you expose yourself, you make yourself vulnerable. So you observe something, you say how you feel, you make a request, and then you tell what you need, why you want the person to do what you're asking. And that's a perfect way to communicate without being aggressive and telling the truth. And I have studied many people who talks about emotional intelligence. One of them is Dale Carnegie. I read his book, How to Make Friends and Influence People. That's a very nice book to start. And I would like to finish this speech with a quote from him. When dealing with people, remember, you're not dealing with creatures of logic, but with creatures of emotion. Thank you.
Thank you, Kim. Thank you so much. That's a great speech. Congratulations. And I would like to say to our guest that I missed his project. Is going to be leadership, understand his communication style. And I changed the name for leadership style. So he was talking about communication style. Congratulations, Kim. I did like the part about being assertive. That's a word that I really learned it after I was a grown-up man for the first time, and they didn't know about that. So that's really nice to see someone talking about that and help people understand. So now I'd like to ask you to give a feedback for Kim. We are going to have 1 minute for that. And I'm going to paste that in our chat here. Where is the chat? Okay. I can't see my chat window. Let me see here. Okay, now it's here. Okay, everyone. So you can just click in this link tree here, and they're going to have a button for feedback for member, and then we're going to see Kim Gibson's name, and I'd like to give you 1 minute to do his feedback. Even the guests can write the feedback, it's okay. So you can share your thoughts on what you like or didn't like. Kim is going to be ready to take this as the best approach so he can improve his next speech. So So everyone, you can keep writing your feedback, and doing that, I'm going to introduce our next speaker. That's going to be Alaúzi Pires. Alaúzi is in the innovative planning path in Toastmasters, and today she's going to present a project called Connect with Your Audience. The outcome of this project is going to be Alaúzi need with some skills that she learned during the project that to keep people connected with her speech. So he can have using slideshows, or he can use some persuasive talking or any other skills that she learned. Her evaluator is going to be Ashley Vanessa Williams, one of our guests today. Thank you, Ashley. And the title of her speech is Potential Effects of Performance-Based Research Funding Systems or Knowledge Production. So Alaúzi Pires with potential effects of performance-based research funding systems on knowledge production. Alaúzi.
I need to share my screen. Can you give me the...
Now you can share now. Just finish mine.
Great. Okay, can you see?
Yes.
Great. Let me find here first Aletheia to see her. Okay. Sorry. 1 second, please. Let me find it. Why am I going to talk about knowledge production and research systems? To explain that, I need to tell you a little about me. In the last 10 years, I've been working at the Coordination for the Improvement of Higher Education Personnel, CAPES. Anyone here knows what CAPES is? I believe that every person that went through a master or a PhD for sure knows well CAPES. CAPES is a foundation linked to the Ministry of Education that is responsible for evaluating all graduate programs from Brazil. Based on this evaluation, CAPES funds the university mainly through scholarships. And in this presentation, I will talk about CAPES as well as my PhD that I finished 3 months ago. Yeah! First of all, what is performance-based research funding system? To understand that, it's important to know where research mainly takes place. Research happens usually inside the higher education system, which encompasses both research and teaching. In general, the research universities, they are government funded, but with time, over time, there was an increase in the number of the university. At the same time, the resources of government become more limited. In this way, many countries created research evaluation systems, so to evaluate these universities and to require from them accountability, efficiency, and productivity. So these governments began to evaluate and link fund to this evaluation. And in this way, rise the performance-based research funding system. And what some countries could see, they could see that the higher the fund, the higher the potential effects of the system on knowledge production. Well, when I talk about potential effects on knowledge of these systems, on knowledge production, what I want to say to you, for instance, these systems promote risk-averse behavior. But what does it? So if I know that the government will give me money only to produce a specific research, a specific knowledge, so I won't take the risk. So I will do only that thing that I know that's for sure the government will funding me. These systems also discourage certain types of research. So for example, if I want to research about lemon, but Brazil won't give me funding to research about lemon, so I won't do that. But now, for example, we have COVID, and what Brazil is doing, oh, if you produce about COVID, I will support you. So, oh, okay, so let's produce about that. So in sum, the main potential effect that we can see related to these systems is that they change institutional praxis and individual behaviors. And how does it happen in Brazil? As I mentioned before, CAPES evaluate the graduate programs. And how CAPES does that? So CAPES collect all the data of these graduate programs, and they use this every 4 years to evaluate this program. And one of the main aspects inside this evaluation is research. So based on this evaluation, CAPES gives a grade to the graduate program, and based on this grade, CAPES allocate fundings to this program. And why is so important to look to this in Brazil case? Something really interesting. 95% of all research in our country happens inside the universities. This system that CAPES create, it's not usually used only by CAPES, but at national level. And this CAPES has been the main funding resource at federal level. All these facts imply in a higher potential effects of this system on knowledge production. In this way, in my opinion, and based on my work, CAPES should monitoring the performance of this system, not only CAPES, but other countries, and understand which effects they are promoting on our knowledge production. Do you know if Brazil is really invest in what they want and getting the results that they desire? Yeah, I'm not sure about that. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, Alaúzi. Congratulations. That's a great speech about something that some of us are not used to know about. I heard about CAPS, I think, with my mom in her work lady when I was a child. I don't remember what was about that, but I remember that because she was related to SERPRO, and I think CAPS had something to do that in the 80s, I'm not sure, but that was a great speech. Congratulations. So I'd like now to ask for our guests and friends here in the chat to give your feedback for Alaúzi. So I'm going to paste the same link as you accessed before, but we are going now to choose the name of Alaúzi Pires. So you can give her your feedback about what was good or not about, in your opinion. Don't remember that our guests can share your thoughts about her participation. Please, I would like to ask Aletheia to take note of 1 minute for that. So I believe it's almost 1 minute, so I'm going to ask for any of you that didn't give your feedback, please just join that link and give your feedback. And for those of you that are still writing, don't mind about that. I'm going now to introduce our next speaker, and you can keep writing your feedback for Alaúzi. That's very important. So now I'm going to have Alexandre Magno speech. He is doing the dynamic leadership path, and his project is going to be negotiate the best outcome. The objective of that is going to be Alexandre needs to share some real or hypothetical situation when he did need negotiate on outcome, how that was handled and how that was for him. The evaluator for him is going to be our guest, Amanda Akemi. Thank you, Amanda, for being here with us. And the title of his speech is going to be From a Couple Fight to a Couple Negotiation, Strategies for a Marriage. Alexandre Magno, From a Couple Fight to a Couple Negotiation, Strategies for Marriage. Please welcome Alexandre Magno.
Talk about negotiation and negotiation in everyday life. But in marriage, most of the time, we don't use negotiation. We use something more like the movie Fight Club. Have you ever seen this movie? Please raise your hands. Whoever saw this movie from 1999 with Edward Norton and Brad Pitt. Was a middle-class man who discovered that his life was meaningless and tried to recover the sense by fighting and by terrorism in the end. It's a very impacting movie. Well, for a lot of people, marriage is a kind of fight club. And after some years of marriage, I discovered that couple fights are usually not about couple problems. What do I mean by that? Well, life is difficult. Life is difficult for everyone. We have frustrations, we have disappointments, we have setbacks. And all of these produce anger. And how can you relieve this anger? There are a lot of possibilities, but I think most of the couples relieve the anger on each other. Well, you can feel even some pleasure about a couple fighting, about relieving the anger, but it obviously doesn't work at the long term. But what will work? Because we know the opposite of fight, it's not very productive either. And what is the opposite of fight? The opposite of fight can be giving up. Well, do whatever you want. I'm indifferent. No, this doesn't work for marriage. And the opposite of fight can be compromise. And compromise means that each one will give something and the solution will be on the middle. Well, I can say to you by experience, this is the worst outcome in a negotiation. Don't ever split the bill, said one very famous negotiation. Compromise means that everyone will become unsatisfied with the result. But what do couples need? Couples need, as Kim said before me, active listening. And after the active listening, they need to value each one's sentiments, beliefs, and values, and start to collaborate with each other. I know it's hard. I know it's very challenging. And now it's time for a disclosure. I'm not telling you this because I mastered the art. No, I chose this subject because I know I must overcome this difficult in my marriage. I must make the transition from couple fight to couple negotiation. It's not easy. And I have a lot of challenges with my wife and my children, especially my daughters, two very persuasive 5-year-old girls. But I'll give an example from a friend of mine who did this. Well, my friend is a very good swimmer, and they have a house, and he wants to build a swimming pool. But his wife was very worried about safety, and he was adamant about not having a swimming pool. It would be very dangerous for the children. And if someone gives up and if they try to compromise, it wouldn't work. What they did at the end, after a lot of talking, after about understanding their necessities, they built the swimming pool, but with all the protection, include a huge fence around it. Thank you.
Okay. Congratulations. That's really, I believe that's an art to be working every day until the last day we are going to be with someone. Congratulations, Alexandre. That's a really challenging subject to talk about, and you did really well. So I'd like to invite all of you to be giving your feedback for Alexandre. The link is in our chat. So you just go to Linktree and choose Alexandre Magno name. And please let that 1 minute for him be worth. So please, Aletheia, take note for 1 minute. Really, we are going to share our feedback for him. Alate, I would like to ask you to give your feedback or your report on time. Will people still writing their feedback? So please, could you share with us your time report?
Yes, thank you. So, hello everybody, hello some guests. I'm going to start to remember you that all speakers today should do their speeches between 5 and 7 minutes with tolerance of 30 seconds. The Ken have done his speech in 7 minutes and 17 seconds. Alauz in 5 minutes and 45 seconds, and Alexandre in 5 minutes and 35 seconds. So all of them are eligible today. Thank you.
Thank you, Aletheia. So now I would like to ask Bruno, our vote counter, to share the pool. So everyone is going to see a pop-up in your screen asking for your opinion, who was the best speaker of this afternoon. Remember that everyone can vote, even our guests. You can feel free to share your opinion. We do this in every meeting so you can recognize the efforts of our members. So we are going to have 1 minute for that. I see that the pool is already here. We have more than 60% of the votes counting. Okay. See. Okay, I believe we are still running some votes to count. So now I would like to say that we're going to have a small break, a 5 minutes break. So everyone that wants can go to the bathroom, drink some water, take care of something in your home. And after 5 minutes, we're going to come back. So now it's 3:43, so we're going to come back 3:48. Our guests, please, if you'd like to ask something, take any doubts, just open your microphone. You can talk with us. We're going to be more than pleased to help you understand more about Toastmasters. So everyone's invited to share your opinion until now.
Great speech, Ken. Great speech.
Thanks, man. I envy Amanda and Eduardo so much because they are in Rio and I'm not.
The game chance. The game chance.
Like the weather is great and everything, but today the only thing I did was like cleaning my house, doing the laundry.
Yes.
The adventures of the
house
quarantiners,
things.
doing the laundry and taking the garbage out.
Exactly, that's the quarantine life. So it's only for Toastmaster.
I visit just 3 bits here in Rio, but I didn't visit so many places here that I'm very anxious to.
So you can make plans while you are locked down.
I have so hours and hours to make these plans.
Right.
And how is there in Brasília? You're here in Brasília, right? Are you there in Brasília or?
Yes, I'm there. Yeah, Brasília. There was a newspaper ad saying Brasília looks like a ghost city. People don't. But now it's with the commerce is reopening step by step. Yes.
To me here I lived here in Itaguaí. I'm currently here in Itaguaí. It's a city far away from the center of Rio. It's quite normal. The people, all of the places, the shopping is open, and that's it.
I don't know
wearing
for the better or for the worst.
For the better or for the
I
worst.
have mixed feelings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Akiko is here today with us as well. Hello,
Yes,
Akiko.
Akiko.
Hello. Hello.
How are you?
I'm good. Who I'm talking to? Sorry.
Here, I'm the timer, so I'm
Oh,
small.
yeah. Thank you for remembering me.
Guys, be right back.
Welcome.
Today we have
Okay,
a lot of
Adriana.
people. Over 20.
Yes,
I'll be right back, people. Wait a
thank
minute.
you, Eduardo. So let me see here. Ariana. Ariana, are you there? How are you?
Good. How are you?
Oh, I'm fine. So you are a friend from Alaúzi?
Yes. Yes.
That's
Great.
nice to see you here. Thank you so much. People talking about being Rio de Janeiro. Ariane is in Florida, so I think that's great too.
But I miss Brazil. I miss it.
Yes. How long have you been here?
I lived in Brazil for 1 year.
Yes. Oh,
Where
that's
I met Alaúzi.
great.
Cool.
Let's see here. You guys here, King, Laura. Okay, we are almost done with our time. Hello, Ronald. Great to see you here. Ronald, it's our new member in Brasília Toastmasters. Welcome, Ronald Neri. Please welcome.
Hello, you
him.
guys.
Thank you. How are you?
I have to say, I'm very amazed with the tools you are constructing this seminar. I'm very amazed because the possibilities of this online meeting with the pool, the integration of Linktree and Google Docs, I'm loving it. It's my first online participation. I knew you in presential meetings, so it's my first time here, and I'm just amazed with the possibilities we can do here.
Yes, that's really indeed true, Ronald. The internet was seeing COVID as a problem for the first time, but after a while we realized that we have actually great opportunity to learn and understand more the tool. So that's really nice. Thank you so much for being here with us. We are wanting you to be doing your first speech, I believe, in a couple of weeks, maybe.
In Portuguese.
Yeah, oh, no problem, no problem.
English is a bit difficult for me.
Okay, no problem.
Alessandro,
Okay,
5
so
minutes done.
okay, thank you, Aletheia. So let's move on with our meeting. And now we're going to be doing the table topic session, as I mentioned before. Shana Maunzi from Mozambique, our Portuguese country friend, she's going to do the table topic session. And she's going to explain to you how that's going to be handled. And just remind that tabletop is going to be from 1 minute to 2 minutes, the maximum time. And after that, you're going to have 30 seconds to finish your speech. Everyone here is going to be able to speak if you want, but Shana is going to first ask some of our members to do that so you can learn how that's done. So please, Shana, please welcome her.
Thank you very much, Mr. Toastmaster, sir. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. I'm going to share my screen with you. Yes. Hi from Mozambique. I am your table topics master for the evening, and I'm very excited for this. The table topic session is one of the most exciting parts of the meeting because there is no preparation before this. You have the chance of speaking on your feet and delivering an impromptu speech. What's going to happen? I'm going to ask you a question, and you'll basically have a time frame of 1 to 2 minutes to answer the question based on your experiences or whatever you want to talk about. It's a free space. You are welcome to join if you're a guest, but initially we're going to ask members who do not have a role to take on the first question. You're very much encouraged to use the word of the day, which is thus, or for instance, during your speech. Now, I would like to know who would like to be our first volunteer. Just unmute yourself and let me know your name. Can I get a member without a role? I don't bite.
Just
Okay, I
just
will.
name one.
I will.
Just one.
Anna will. Anna Paula will.
Oh,
Ana
great.
Paula. Okay, great, Ana Paula. So I'm going to ask you to tell us a joke. You have a time frame of 1 to 2 minutes, and you're encouraged to use the word of the day. For instance, or thus. Over to you.
Oh my gosh. I'm considered a very funny person, but I just can't remember any jokes right now. Oh, let me see if I remember one. Actually, I don't remember, but I'm sorry. I don't remember any jokes right now. This is so unexpected. So, oh man, I don't know. A joke. Maybe someone can help me if anyone remembers a joke. Does anyone could help me? Because
Maybe some story.
Some
Funny
story?
story. Yeah, funny
A
story.
funny story. Okay, I have one funny story, but it's really common. It happened once that I was in the central bus station here in Brasília, and I was talking on the phone, and I was in the stairs, and I was looking for my mother, and then I just felt in the central bus station, and it was really funny because everyone started to laugh on me, and I started to laugh too. And this is one of the funniest situations. But now I have to study jokes, because when someone asks me about a joke, I have to have one because I don't have. Okay, now I'm curious. If anyone has a joke, please send me on the chat because I don't know any jokes. I'm sorry, but thank you.
Thank you, Ana Paula. Congratulations. I want a round of applause for her. Thank you so much for trying.
Okay.
And it was great. Thank you so much. Can I have another volunteer? Just unmute yourself and tell us your name.
Is it live? Okay, I can try.
Who's that?
Ronald.
Ronald. Okay, Ronald.
The joke?
No,
Okay.
not the joke. If you found your boss eating your food at the office fridge, what would you do? So you go to the office fridge and you see your boss eating your food. What do? You have a time frame of 1 to 2 minutes, and you're encouraged to use the word of the day. Over to you.
Okay. Okay, let's do it. Okay, boss, I have to tell you something. Oh no, I have to ask you something. Who is the boss? I see you're eating my food right now, but would you like me to sign one of your documents? Now I'm asking you, who is the boss? And I can fire right now or assign your resignment. That's it.
Thank you very much, Ronald. We appreciate it. Does anybody else wants to go next? Just unmute yourself and tell us your name.
Vanessa.
Yes, you're welcome to join. Did I hear someone?
Yes, Vanessa.
Vanessa, yes, Vanessa. So here is your question. What would you teach the generation coming after you? what would you teach the generation coming after you? You have 1 to 2 minutes to deliver your speech.
One of the most important things for the future generation is to have a planet to live in. So I would teach the future generations to have a more sustainable way of living, to decrease their carbon footprint, for example, to reduce the pollution, to consume less, to try to live a more simple life. I think everyone should start having these habits in the present, but it's even more important for the future generations, because some of us won't be here anymore in some decades. But the future generation are going to be here, and they are going to inherit this planet, and maybe they will have to live in a place that is not as good as we have today, with a more extreme climate. So I think the most important thing that we have to teach the future generations is to take good care of the planet. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for that, Vanessa. And I highly appreciate your point of view. That's something that I also defend a lot. We should be more cautious by the things that we do to the environment. Now I am going to call the last person to ask this question. I'm going to pick on people now. I see Akiko. Akiko, do you want to give it a try?
Yeah, it's me, Akiko. Thank you. Well, this is actually the very first challenge for me too. And how old would you be if you didn't know how old you are? I actually feel very, very familiar with the feeling or how I discover the world. It's like when I talk to my friends' kids, who are in their kindergarten, or 5 years old, or 4 years old, I feel so much content, and I feel I can express myself really, really naturally. So I think if I don't know the number to count how old I think 4 or 5 years old, because 7 or 8 years old kids looks too old for me. And then the 1 or 2, I think they are baby and I'm not baby anymore. So I think, like, I guess I'm 4 or 5 because I feel myself as it is while I'm playing with them. Sorry, that's it. Thank you for listening.
Thank you very much, Akiko. That was really, really fun. And I personally feel like I'm 4 or 5 sometimes too. So I'm totally in with you. Now I'm going to hand over to our Toastmaster of the day. But first, I want to thank all of you who participated and expressed your opinions during this session. And now over to you, Alessandro, Toastmasters of the day. Thank you very much.
Okay, please. Thank you, Shannon, again for joining us this afternoon and helping us. That's a great tabletop session. Thank you so much. Now I would like to invite our timer, Aletheia Melo, to share the time of the speech of this event this afternoon.
Hello, everybody again. So for the topic tables, all should do their speech between 1 and 2 minutes. So Ana Paula have on his in 1 minute and 44 seconds. Ronald in 46 seconds, Vanessa in 1 minute and 33 seconds, and Akiko in 1 minute and 3 seconds. So Ronald is not eligible, but all girls, yes. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, Aletheia. So now I would like to invite all of you to vote for the best impromptu speech of this meeting. So I'm going to launch now the polls. It's going to pop up in your screen. You can choose in your our opinion who you think was the best one. Please, we have 1 minute for doing that. That's it. I think we have all of the votes, and I'm closing the poll now. Thank you so much, everyone who voted. And I would like now to pass to the third part of the meeting. That's going to be the evaluators' feedback. So we have now the third and most important part of the meeting, that when the Toastmasters educational program wrap up, and that where we have our members delivering feedback for other members. So our first evaluator is going to be Ana Paula Fernandes. She was evaluating the King Gibson speech. Please help me welcome Ana Paula. She is going to have from 2 to 3 minutes to deliver her evaluation.
Well, it's a pleasure to evaluate Kim. He has a very good, clear English, and he speaks very, very well. He brought us today a very interesting subject, which we could learn about a lot of concepts and a lot of things that we could consolidate. Things that I know a little, like nonviolent communication, and it was very interesting, this subject. But Kim, one thing that I noticed is that you said that you did a test on the Toastmasters website. You explained all the styles of communication, but you didn't tell us what was your style of communication. And I was really curious about that, you know. So I was missing this part in your speech. And one thing that I would like you to improve in your next speech is that you have a really good gesture. You move your hands very well, but I thought you were too close to the camera, you know, like if you're like this, and then if you move far from the camera, it will be more clear, you know, your gestures, it will be like this, and then we can see you better. But I really like it the way you show your slideshows, and you use the word of the day. That's a plus. And I want you to talk more about yourself in your next speeches, because I missed that a little, because you brought us just concepts and things to learn, and I really like it to know a little more about you. But it was a really good speech, and I wish you all the best, and I'm looking forward to hear your next speech. Thank you very much. It's up to you, Mr. Alessandro Dias.
Thank you, Ana Paula. That's a great evaluation. It's really important to really pay attention for the project itself. So congratulations on that. And now I'd like to invite our second evaluator. She's going to be evaluating Alaúzi Pires' speech. Please welcome Ashley Vanessa Williams, our guests that is joined today, Brasília Toastmasters.
Boa tarde. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Today I'll be evaluating Alaúzi. Alaúzi is on her second speech in the innovative planning pathway, and she needed to practice the skills to connect with an unfamiliar audience, and she needed to present on a topic that is unfamiliar to the club. Where's Alaúzi? Alaúzi, you have done that. I want to congratulate you. You have achieved a topic that is different, and you're able to present it very clearly. So congrats. The speech was amazing. It was filled with a lot of emotions, used a lot of gestures, and I like that you used the PowerPoint as an aid, using more pictures than text, instead of using it as the main focus of your speech. You were the main focus of your speech, so congrats on that. For the question that you started in the start, I think you could have leave more time for the audience to respond. For instance, you could start the question like, raise your hand if anyone know what CAPES is or CAPES is, and you allow people to raise their hand to respond. And this leave the speech more interactive. Let the audience feel involved in your speech. Let them feel like they're needed for this speech. Your posture and gestures were very controlled and effective, and they were in the zone of the camera, so that was good. Everything was in the box, but you were only using one hand. The other hand was on the mouse to pass the slides, but it would feel more natural if you were able to use both hands. So for the next time, I would suggest that you use both hands, and then you can go and touch the slides afterwards. I want to challenge you for the next speech to stand. You can stand and give the speech, and you can use more gestures and more facial expressions in the next speech. And I would allow you not to be so close to the computer, so you can use both hands. You won't be like, oh, I have to have one hand on the computer. You're far away, you'll be able to use both hands. Again, I want to say congratulations. The speech was wonderful. I really loved it, and you achieved the objective of the pathway, and everybody definitely would be questioning if the grading system of CAPES is effective. I pass the palaver back to return back to Alexandra.
Okay, thank you, Ashley, to join us and help us, our club today. I'm sure that Alaúzi is really happy with your feedback. Congratulations on that. So now we're moving on to our third evaluation of this meeting. That's going to be Amanda Kemi, again, another guest. Thank you again, Amanda, to join us. And she's going to evaluate Alexandre Magno's speech. Please help me welcome Amanda Akemi.
Thank you, Alessandro, for the introduction, and for Brasília Toastmasters for inviting me again. It's always a pleasure to be with you. So today my job is to evaluate Alexandre's speech from couple fight to a couple negotiation. And I will kick off this evaluation by saying how much I loved the connection you did from a personal matter to the topic of your speech. I think many times it can be difficult for us to relate the knowledge we get in personal development paths, as we do here in Toastmasters, to our personal lives. And you did that in a really good way, because in the end of the day, we're all the same person and professional. So you did a good job in integrating the skills you learned, for example, in your Toastmasters club to your daily lives. And that was a really nice topic choice for me. Also, I really like that you were really calm and smooth during your presentation. In the moments you needed, you took a breath and you actually started the next sentence from that pace. So that was really good. You also made a really good balance between having a general perspective of marriage and also giving some inputs from your personal life. Because sometimes when you're talking about something that is quite personal for us, it can be a little bit too into our personal level, and then it's more difficult for the audience to relate. But you actually did a great job in saying general topics about marriage that your audience could actually understand and relate to. As points for improvement, I will jump in some more technical issues. One thing is that when you were during your speech, you had a little bit of a cluttered background around you. So it would have been good to be more in a background as you have now, which is non-distractive part of your house or something like that. And if you don't have the chance to do that, you can always use a virtual background to kind of give the focus of the presentation to yourself and have nothing to distract people around you. Another thing is that in the beginning, you actually had to unmute yourself because you started your speech while you were still on mute. So I think I've lost the very first words of your speech. And as we are in this virtual context, it's always important that we start by checking if our audience is listening, if the slides are clear, and all this type of thing. Also, I missed a tiny bit of voice variation in your speech. You were very smooth, and that was, because you were calm and confident about it. But maybe if you had added a little bit of ups and downs in your voice and in the rhythm of your speech, you could have been a little bit more engaging. And in terms of structure of the speech, I really like the examples you gave. One thing I would suggest you to change would be maybe your pool/fence example, because at one part of your speech you said, now it's time for some closure. And that gave me the expectation that you would actually finalize your speech. But then you also came up with this nice example from your friends, which was a great example. It really said everything you wanted from your theory part of your speech, but it ended up being a little bit more than just a closure, so you maybe could have changed that to the middle of your speech and then went to the closure part. Apart from that, I really love that you mentioned Kim's speech in your speech, because it shows that you're actually active listening to the rest of the group, and that was really nice. And I also loved how willing you are to be the best version of yourself to your family and into your marriage. Congratulations for that. And that is it for my evaluation today. Sorry that I overtook time. Back to you, Alessandro.
Okay. Thank you, Amanda. That's not a problem because that was a great feedback indeed. So congratulations, thank you again. Now I'd like to invite Aletea Mello to share her time report on the evaluation part of our meeting. Please, Aletea.
So now all evaluators should do their evaluation between 2 and 3 minutes. And Ana Paula have done her evaluation in 2 minutes and 35 seconds. Ashley in 2 minutes and 55 seconds, and Amanda in 3 minutes and 22 minutes. We have a tolerance with 30 seconds, so all of them are available are eligible. Please, sorry. Thank you all.
Okay. Thank you, Aletea. That's nice to see that everyone is going to be able to be voted.
Yes.
And now I would like to ask Bruno Rabelo to just pop up the vote session for the best evaluator. Remember that the guests can vote and which one of them you think was the best. And that's nice to see that we have 3 women today doing the evaluator part. That's really nice. So 1 minute for that, which you have our voting here. Okay, we have. Okay, I think we are done because we reached 15 votes And now moving on to the next part of our meeting, going to be the reports. Now we are going to have more feedback, but specifically for each of the roles that we have. And now we'd like to invite Rodrigo Ramos, that he is going to share the accounter report. Please welcome Rodrigo.
Thank you, Alessandro. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. I will be direct. The worst enemies of anyone is soul and end. Is the principal fulfilling word. Alessandro did 11 words unnecessary, 10 of them soul. Vanessa, as a grammarian, did a very clear speech with none. Kim made 17 words. So are the most of one. Alauzi did 8, and I remember the last speech I heard from Alauzi. She is very better now. Alexandre did 19, and well and but the words. Aletheia as a timer 4, soul. Shana, nothing. Ana Paula, 12, and but you know sometimes. Ronald, a very brief speech, did nothing. Vanessa, as impromptu speaker, did 9. 2 soul and 5 to when she said to reduce, to consume, to live in a planet, and another words. Akiko did 3 soul and Akiko, you finish your speech with that's it. It's better to say thank you, back to you, table talks, anything. Ana Paula, in her evaluation, did 13. So and well, you know, but Ashley did 5, said 5 words, almost, and every word. And Amanda, 15. And so are the most of it. Thank you, Alessandro. Back to you.
Okay, thank you, Rodrigo. That's really nice. I really like the account report. That helped me a lot in the beginning of Toastmaster journey. I hope that do the same for you. That sometimes may be so scary to see that how many words we do use, but that's really nice to see how many of them are going to lose during the next month. So congratulations, Rodrigo. Thank you so much. And the next report is going to be from Vanessa Silva, our grammarian. That's really, again, in the English meetings, one of my best reports because I really like to learn more about English. And everyone here, I think, has English as a second language. Please help me welcome our grammarian of the day, Vanessa da Silva.
Thank you, Alessandro. I would like to share my screen here. Can you see it?
Yes, it's coming.
Okay, so I noticed a lot of people use one of the words of the day. For instance, Alessandro, Kim, Alauzi, Zana, and Ashley. So congratulations for that. I took some notes on aspects we could improve in the English. I noticed some mistakes in the pronunciation. In non-profit, the stronger syllable is pro. In eligible, it's the first syllable, eligible. And when we speak listen, you don't pronounce the T. Regarding the grammar, I have noticed that Alessandro used this structure sometimes. Instead of saying we have, he said we do have. This is not incorrect. We can use the particulate do to give an emphasis to the phrase, but I would like you to be aware of that and not to overuse it. It's not supposed to be used a lot in the speech. And regarding the verb to know, I noticed a mistake in the conjugation in the past. When it's affirmative, you say knew, I knew. But when it's in the negative form, it is I didn't know. It's not I didn't knew. I noticed several words that we could include in our vocabulary. Kim used, for example, choose poorly, allows, chose to use discourage. I observed several words that are useful for us to incorporate to our vocabulary. I'm going to send them in the WhatsApp group and also in the chat. Thank you very much. Congratulations, everyone. Just take this out.
Okay, thank you, Vanessa. Thank you so much. I didn't know that I couldn't say I didn't knew. So that is really nice to understand that for the first time. That's really nice. I really didn't know that. That's really strange to say that. That's right. I didn't know. Every time I say, when it's negative, I say I didn't know, even if it's in the past.
Yes,
okay, nice.
Yes.
Yeah, that's really surprising that for me. Thank you so much, Vanessa. So we're going to move to Maria Iracema Hack Master Report. As I mentioned before, I would like everyone to listen really well to the speeches and some part of our meeting. So Maria Iracema is going to take the place now as Hack Masters and bring you some questions. Please help me welcome her. Maria
You are
Iracema, where are
mute.
you?
Maria.
Okay, Maria Iracema, now you are muted. Okay.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that. I was yakking away, unaware that I was on mute. I would like to ask Alatea to give me a voice warning when there is 1 minute left, please. Thank you.
Okay.
On Kim Gibson's speech, he mentioned that one of the communication styles is supportive. Who can tell us 2 characteristics of this style? The supportive styles, what are 2 characteristics of the person who uses this communication style?
One of them is to be a good listener.
You got it. You got it, Vanessa. One more.
To avoid fighting, is it?
To avoid conflict. Yes, awesome. That was great.
Thanks for the tip, Kim.
What about the direct communication style? Can you tell us 2 characteristics of this style?
Come on, Eduardo. Let's go, Eduardo.
2 characteristics of the direct communication style.
I think it's, I forgot about assertive.
Actually, let me tell you, independent, confident, goal-oriented, focused, all of these. Okay, And I see a red signal, so I'm going to stop here. Thank you for listening.
Okay, thank you, Iracema. Thank you so much for your report. And I'm going to move to our next session. Is going to be our general evaluator. And I would like now to invite the person that was taking note and listening about everything that was went right and wrong in this meeting. And he's going to deliver his speech about the meeting and about some tips on how can we use better the camera that we have in front of us. Please welcome Daniel Beck.
Thanks, Alessandro. Yeah, so just to confirm, do I have the 2 times together for the general evaluator and the audio and video evaluator?
Yes, you can have more than 7 minutes.
All right, cool. So let me get started with the general evaluator then. First of all, I'd like to start by saying that I'm very impressed with the maturity of the club. I think we really found the ideal process and the model for the meeting. This is really, really good. Alessandro did start the meeting on time, which is great. Aletheia did the welcome, right, of the members and guests in the beginning of the meeting. I really could feel the friendly and positive environment which we seek here in Toastmasters, which was awesome, very good. Aletheia and Bruno asked the meeting members with roles in the meeting, right, to change the names, to rename themselves in Zoom, so everyone could see who is doing what, which is very good practice. It was nice to see the usage of the new slides with the meeting guide and the new shield of the Top Excellence Club. That was fantastic. Also great to see, Aletheia, the demo of the technology you were going to use to show the time to everyone. Very good. Very good tight control of the time, even during the break, the networking break. I saw that. I also like it to see the split of responsibilities during the meeting while we had like Bruno launching the poll for the voting. And I think that really helped to keep the meeting really dynamic and fluid. Now let's switch from the general meeting and focus a little bit on the evaluators part. Ana Paula, which did the evaluation of King Gibson. Ana Paula, what did I see? What I saw in your evaluation, you did start highlighting your evaluation with positive comments, right? Which is very good. You mentioned about the missing part that you felt on the project. You did suggest an improvement with regards to the camera position to Kim. You also suggested Kim to talk a little bit about himself in the next speech, which is always good, right? You can suggest things that the person can improve. But my little feedback to you is you could also focus on focus. I always forget that. Anyway, but check the evaluation form on the topics that we have there while providing the feedback. So there you have, for instance, vocal variety, eye contact, engagement with audience, and all of that other topics that you can also include in your evaluation. I felt you talked a little majority of the part about the content, and you could talk a little bit more on the specific topics that you feel he can improve, right? That's my little thing. Ashley, you evaluated Alauzi, and I really liked your evaluation. You start with a positive highlight, suggest the way to improve and increase the interaction with the audience. You highlighted the posture and gestures on her speech. You challenged her to stand right in the next speech to improve that. One little suggestion that I felt in your speech was that you were looking down to Alauzi's image on the screen. And that's something for all of us. It's not only Ashley. It's really hard while talking to look to the camera instead of looking at the images in the screen. So that's the little thing. So actually, Alauzi, when she was looking to it, she was probably looking at the camera. So if you look at the camera, you're looking at Alauzi. So that's my little thing for you. It was a great feedback. Amanda, first of all, this was more than a feedback. This was like an impressive analysis, right? You covered everything for every aspect. You started highlighting like the analysis and the skills learned in Toastmasters and how that's applicable in the daily life of Alexandre. You mentioned about the calm state, the breath or the breath that he took in the beginning. You mentioned points of improvement, like talking about the background and this distraction it can cause during the speech. You also mentioned about the audio issue in the beginning, things that we can improve for sure. That is applicable to everyone. While starting your speech, check your audio and video to make sure that everything is okay. You also talked and covered what I just mentioned before about the evaluation form. You talked about like vocal variety and rhythm of the speech, and that can improve the engagement with the audience. You also talked about the structure of the speech when he mentioned about the closure that led to think that it would be closing the speech, and that was not the case. So good to highlight that, because things that we can improve and we don't talk much is about the structure of the speeches. It's the writing part. So overall, evaluators, awesome job. Now I will switch the hat to the audio and evaluator. Okay, let me see, Leteia, where are you? Okay, I'm still right there. All right, audio and evaluator. I picked actually everyone that I saw in the camera. I will post this in the chat, but I'll pick some of them to highlight here. First off, Aleteia, starting with you. You have a good lighting on your face coming from your right that I could see. You could improve that a little bit if you had like a desk lamp in front of you. Your sound was very clear, and without headset, it was very impressive, very good. Ashley, there was a strong light, at least in the beginning of the meeting, I saw a strong light on your back. And since the wall was white, it was causing a little contrast with your face because it was missing some desk lamp right next to you. I saw that it changed later, but that's what I noticed in the beginning. So always try to have the desk lamp something close to you that it could focus the light or put a light on your face to improve the view of your facial expressions, right? Your sound also, your sound in the beginning, it seemed like a little robot. I felt like a noise on your voice. I couldn't understand, but I felt like a noise. So it's good to maybe check that. Ariana, the light on your room was very good and well balanced. The only thing I noticed from you was the camera position, that probably you have your notebook on your desk and the camera was pointed towards your room ceiling. So my suggestion is for you to next time try to put the notebook maybe like over a shoebox or some books that could put the camera on your eye level, all right? Alessandro was a state of art. Your face was very well balanced with light and your sound was loud and clear. Alauzi had a bright, clear background, which was creating this contrast with your blue shirt, which was good. But what I felt was the missing light on your face. The background was too bright, and in your front was a little too dark. That's what I felt. So maybe if you put like a little desk lamp close to you, that will improve. The camera was very, very well framed, loud and clear your sound. Vanessa, similar to Ashley, I felt this problem with the light in the background, and your face also was a little too dark. The other thing I noticed you can improve is the distance from your camera. I could see just from almost your neck up, and while talking, you can improve that. But if you stay a little far from your camera, so we can see more room and space to have your hand gestures in the camera too. Rodrigo, everything was good. Light was very good and well balanced. Sound was loud and clear. Going to the last one, and I'll paste everyone else on the chat. Akiko, the light was very well balanced, and you have a natural light in your window, and you also had the light from your room. So that was very good for me. Your sound was loud and clear, and I liked the frame of your camera. When you start the speech, you were like this, very close to the camera, but when you start the speech, you went back, and then you could see your hand gestures. So very good. For everyone, thanks for having me as your evaluator today. And I'm going to paste the feedbacks for everyone on the chat right now. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you, Daniel. I hope all of you take note on what Daniel said to you. That's really rich information. I hope that can help you be more prepared to show yourself in this camera world that we live today. So thank you so much, Daniel. And I would like to ask all of you to open your camera so you can take the picture of this meeting and prepare your best smile. After that, we're going to have the winners of this meeting, and after that, the final announcements. So please, everyone, open your camera so you can see you. And I'm going to change to grid mode now, and I hope I can see everyone in one screen. Let me just crop this here. Okay, Bruno, are you there, Bruno? I don't think so. Okay, so remember to look into the web camera lenses. Don't look at yourself in the monitor, okay? So 1, 2, 3. One more. 1, 2, 3. Okay, thank you so much. Now we are going to room the drum rolls, because we're going to have the winners of this meeting. And I would like now to make some noise so we can see who was the best table topic speaker of this meeting. And please help me welcome Vanessa da Silva Santos, our grammarian and best table topics speaker of this meeting. Congratulations, Vanessa. And now for the best evaluator of this meeting, please drum rolls for our friend from Rio, Amanda Akemi. Amanda, congratulations, your evaluation. Thank you so much. That was a great evaluation for Alexandre. And for the best prepared speech of this meeting, please, again, drum roll. So let's welcome our friend Kim Gibson Martins, best speaker of this meeting. Congratulations, Kim. That was indeed a great speech. So moving on, I would like to thank you all. The meeting is officially over now, but I would like to stay with you for a couple minutes more so I can share some insights about the next movement in our club and Toastmasters here in Brazil. I was your Toastmaster of the day, and now I would pass the word for the president of the club, that today is me again. So I'm double as Toastmasters and president of the club. I would like to welcome again, olha, quero dar as boas-vindas agora em português. Perdão, já estou acostumado a falar em português. Inclusive, eu vou reforçar que eu realmente estou impressionado com I didn't know. Realmente, eu ainda não consigo aceitar, minha cabeça dando um nó. Eu ainda preciso conversar com vocês no privado aí, que entende de inglês. Mas então, pessoal, boas-vindas, como eu falei no intervalo, Ronald Neri, novo associado do Brasília Toastmasters. Palmas para ele. Muito obrigado, Ronald, por confiar no nosso clube. O Ronald é um dos responsáveis, para quem não sabe também, pelo terceiro clube em formação aqui em Brasília, e ele se uniu a Brasília para poder ganhar um pouco mais de experiência, conhecer um pouco mais da dinâmica online que a gente vai viver até os próximos meses. Ronald, se você quiser abrir o microfone e dar mais uma palavra para a gente agora em português, fique à vontade. O palco aqui agora é seu.
Well, eu vou tentar falar em português agora, porque esqueci tudo. Gente, só para falar mais uma vez que eu estou bastante empolgado aqui de conhecer vocês e finalmente ser membro do clube e poder contribuir um pouco aí com o crescimento pessoal de todo mundo, né? Acho que nós estamos no mesmo barco, estamos passando por momentos muito difíceis no mundo inteiro, e esse momento de encontro, de crescimento, favorece a todo mundo. Nós todos só temos a ganhar com esse tipo de iniciativa.
Maravilha, Ronald, muito obrigado. Novamente, seja muito bem-vindo. Obrigado por confiar no nosso clube. Conta com o nosso apoio, não só aqui no Brasília Toastmasters, mas também no novo Clube em Formação. Você pode ter certeza que a gente vai estar do lado de vocês. Então, vamos para cima, que realmente é um momento de muitas oportunidades. E agora, já nos finais, na semana passada eu tinha mencionado para vocês, e gostaria que os visitantes da reunião de hoje deixassem aqui no chat quem foi que convidou vocês. Se vocês não vieram através de algum link do Instagram ou do Facebook, compartilhasse no chat para mim saber quem foi as pessoas que convidaram vocês visitantes, porque a gente está acontecendo agora uma competiçãozinha interna no nosso clube, que chama-se o Smedley Award. É quando a gente busca novos associados para o clube entre os meses de agosto e setembro de todos os anos. O Smedley Award ele é mencionado em referência ao fundador do Toastmasters Internacional, o Smedley. E a ideia de se fazer isso é o quê? Trazer mais pessoas para que possam conhecer um clube. No momento onde, geralmente, a gente tem a transição. O semestre do Toastmasters, ele renova nos meses de setembro para outubro e de março para abril. Nessas épocas, geralmente, a gente tem uma baixa de associados. Então, eles fazem essa campanha para que a gente possa estimular novos associados. E vinculado a essa campanha do Smedley Award, a gente resolveu fazer uma premiação para quem pudesse trazer mais convidados entre a reunião de hoje, de sábado, dia 8 de agosto, até o dia 25 de setembro, que é a última reunião que a gente vai ter ainda no mês de setembro. E a pessoa que conseguir trazer mais convidados, mesmo que você tenha convidado alguém e não esteja na reunião e seu convidado veio, vocês vão ganhar uma caneca customizada do Brasília Toastmasters. Essa vai ser a primeira caneca que a gente já fez. Então, vocês têm a chance, todos vocês hoje, de convidar amigos para que venham conhecer o clube, mesmo que participem de forma passiva, simplesmente escutando a reunião e conhecendo um pouco mais sobre o Toastmasters. Para quem tiver alguma dúvida em relação à promoção, pode mandar no nosso grupo do WhatsApp, que a gente está à disposição para ajudar vocês. Mas aqui um exemplo muito rápido. Como eu falei, ela vai do dia 8 até o dia 24 de setembro, que é a última reunião que a gente tem em setembro. Ou seja, se, por exemplo, o Ronald, que acabou de entrar no Brasília, trouxer um convidado hoje e durante as próximas 6 reuniões, um convidado diferente, o Ronald vai ganhar 7 pontos. E se o Ronald trouxer o mesmo convidado durante as 7 reuniões, ele também ganha 7 pontos. Então, o que conta é a participação do seu convidado dentro da reunião. Quem tiver dúvida, manda para a gente. E gostaria de dizer que teremos a nossa próxima reunião, que será em português, no próximo sábado, dia 15 de agosto, com check-in também às 2h45 e início às 3 horas da tarde. Todos vocês são convidados, inclusive nossas amigas que estão hoje aqui da Flórida, a Kiko também, nossa visitante. Fique à vontade aqui para poder vir a uma reunião em português. Xana também, todos vocês. E gostaria aqui de interromper meu compartilhamento e agradecer em nome de todos que eu vou ler agora aqui, que eu sei que nos ajudaram de alguma forma hoje, principalmente nossos convidados de fora. Então, Ana Paula, parabéns, obrigado por ser nossa avaliadora de hoje. A Amanda também. A Laúze, parabéns pelo discurso preparado. O Bruno por nos ajudar com a questão dos votos. O Alexandre com seu discurso preparado também. Ashley, nossa segunda avaliadora, muito obrigado por nos ajudar aqui em Brasília. Daniel Beck, muito obrigado, Daniel, pelo feedback sempre muito preciso aqui como avaliador geral. O Kim Gibson, nosso discursante, primeiro discurso preparado e melhor do dia. Parabéns, Kim, muito obrigado pela participação. Contamos com seu apoio. Maria Iracema, Hackmaster, muito obrigado, Maria Iracema. É sempre bom te ver nas reuniões com a gente. Rodrigo do Best Nights, muito obrigado pelo feedback de Accounter, sensacional. E a nossa timer de hoje, a Letéia Melo, obrigado, Letéia, pelo seu feedback de timer. Vanessa, nossa gramática, eu acho sensacional, realmente ela adora a função do gramático. Queria eu poder ajudar vocês igual vocês me ajudam, realmente muito bom. E a Xana, que está vindo de Moçambique para nos ajudar. Boa noite para você aí em Moçambique, Xana, muito, muito obrigado. E eu ainda torço ainda para que vocês tenham o primeiro clube em português aí em Moçambique, porque eu sei que ainda não existe. Todos os clubes da sociedade aí são em inglês, tá bom? E agradeço aos nossos convidados que estão aqui hoje, que eu vi que além da Kiko, que a gente conversou mais cedo, tem a Ariana lá da Flórida. Muito obrigado, Ariana. E se tiver algum outro convidado que quiser agora, a Laura, que eu estou vendo aqui, compartilhar um pouquinho do que vocês mais gostaram da reunião, o que vocês acharam interessante, fique à vontade, o espaço aqui é de vocês.
Posso começar?
Sacanha, hein? Oi, claro, claro, Laura.
Bom, eu adorei que tem feedback do feedback do feedback. Isso é muito legal. Eu gostei também de ver que tem gente em todos os níveis de inglês, que vi que já está mais confortável, gente que ainda dá umas tropeçadinhas, mas que tá ali porque quero falar inglês, e a única jeito de falar é falando, né? Então, eu senti um espaço bem aberto para treinar, que não era nem meu ponto, inclusive, eu caí meio de paraquedas em sem inglês, né? Eu estava esperando em português, descobri na hora que era em inglês, mas tudo certo. E acho uma ótima oportunidade para treinar, inclusive.
Que ótimo, Laura.
Eu adorei, pretendo voltar.
Que bom, seja muito bem-vinda. Fico feliz que você continue na reunião, realmente assusta muito para quem não está acostumado a fazer um papel ou falar inglês. Eu digo isso pelas próprias experiências que eu tive também. Meu discurso preparado a primeira vez foi num clube avançado do Toastmasters e eu quase desisti, faltando 2 minutos para a reunião começar. Estava apavoradíssimo. E, assim, é muito legal que a gente tem um ambiente acolhedor, é um ambiente seguro, onde a gente tem pessoas que querem nos apoiar, que entendem do programa educacional. E a gente está aqui justamente para mostrar para vocês que são convidados que vocês também podem se desenvolver. Por exemplo, eu acabei de agradecer muito a Vanessa e o Kim também, que já foi gramático aqui na reunião, que são professores de inglês, Ana Paula também, e mesmo assim participam nos ajudando. Eu fui gramático numa reunião avançada. Eu consegui falar 2 coisas assim que eu tinha dúvida ainda se eu deveria ou não falar, porque eu não sou um estudante da língua inglesa, mas mesmo assim nós somos convidados a aceitar o desafio. Então, aproveita a oportunidade para todos os meus amigos aqui que estão dentro do clube, vocês podem ser gramática em inglês, porque eu, apontando um errozinho simples de um outro amigo que falava inglês tão mal quanto eu, fez toda a diferença. Então, espero que vocês possam se desafiar. Deixa eu ver quem mais que está aqui de convidados. Acho que é a Kiko de novo. A Kiko, você fala português um pouquinho ou não? Ah, que ótimo. Bom, eu gostaria muito de te ver participando das reuniões em português também. Seja muito bem-vinda, sempre que você quiser. Pessoal, fica à vontade. Quem quiser agradecer, mandar mensagem, o microfone está aberto para vocês.
Ok, vou falando em português, então deixa eu só mostrar que eu dei um comentário ali, fiz um comentário nos feedbacks para a Maria Iracema. Queria mostrar para ela o fundo que eu comprei. Hoje eu não estou utilizando ele aqui, mas é um tecido, é um tecidão. Comprei no Mercado Livre. E aí eu comprei junto uma estrutura que põe aqui atrás, né, tipo uma goleira assim, né, vem do suporte, e aí pendura esse tecido atrás. A qualidade da imagem com o fundo virtual é fantástica. E aí ele não fica com esse... O software não se perde, né? Porque o software, se a gente não tem um fundo assim, com uma cor, como o Alessandro está mostrando agora, ele se perde um pouco. Então ele fica perdido. Já testei antes com o fundo virtual também, sem ter o fundo, sem ter o tecido, e tendo o tecido, a diferença é realmente gritante. Fica a dica para quem usa bastante fundo virtual.
Obrigada, Daniel. Passe o link para comprar o tecido no Mercado Livre, por favor.
Passo sim.
Obrigada.
Coloca lá, pessoal, faz toda a diferença, realmente. Até às vezes você tem um ambiente em casa que tem muita distração, às vezes até a família, ou você está num ambiente que não é o mais agradável, e você consegue muito rapidamente resolver isso. O Zoom é muito bom nesse sentido. Eu, como fotógrafo, trabalho com edição de vídeo, fazer o chroma key, que é o recorte, o chroma key em verde, não é fácil para um software de edição profissional. Então, assim, você vê que tem várias sombras. Aqui tem uma janela bem grande aberta do meu lado, e aqui é uma parede. E mesmo assim o aplicativo recorta muito bem. Simplesmente você coloca e ele já funciona. Serve até para a gente fazer o timer, inclusive as cores que eu tenho aqui é para quando eu sou timer, utilizando o Zoom. Ou ambientes aí você vai para o Google e procura o quarto dos seus sonhos, um pão de queijo aqui, ó, reunião de Belo Horizonte que eu participei agora na quinta-feira. Fiz uma homenagem como avaliador geral, falando sobre pão de queijo. Então, é muito legal mesmo. Pessoal, muito obrigado novamente. Pessoal, fique à vontade. A nossa reunião oficialmente terminou. E espero contar com vocês. E quero muito, Xana, dizer que eu ainda quero estar lá em Moçambique com vocês. O horário ainda é um pouco difícil para mim, porque é no meio da tarde da quarta-feira, mas assim que eu conseguir, eu vou estar com vocês lá.
Alessandro?
Sim.
Alaúze. A Ariana não entendeu que ela podia dar a opinião dela. Eu quero ouvir a opinião dela.
Ah, claro, Ariana, por favor.
Ela fala português, mas ela está destreinada. Ela não entendeu.
Não, porque eu sou convidada, não sabia o que fazer, mas eu achei a reunião muito legal. Eu sempre gosto de fazer intercâmbios. E, não sei, eu fui algumas vezes às reuniões do Toastmasters aqui em Miami, onde eu moro. E como participar hoje, eu quero participar mais aqui mesmo. Então, agora...
Que ótimo.
Também preciso melhorar como eu falo.
Bom, mas é dessa forma, Ariana, se desafiando a cada reunião. Assim, às vezes no primeiro momento parece simples, né? A Laura, por exemplo, percebeu o potencial gigante com tantos feedbacks, mas de reunião em reunião igual a essa, você pega as pessoas que entraram há 2, 3 meses atrás, que a gente tem aqui, inclusive, nesse grupo, o crescimento é extraordinário. A gente está, inclusive, trazendo essa ideia para a gente ter associados que queiram compartilhar o seu feedback nas reuniões. A Laúze mesmo aqui, eu vou falar porque ela está presente, ela foi uma das que tinha essa sensação de o que é a Toastmasters. A gente ajudou ela para preparar a apresentação de mestrado dela. Eu lembro que o feedback que ela mandou em áudio para a gente foi sensacional. Então, assim, é uma prova de quanto que a gente pode se ajudar. Doutorado? Ah, parabéns, obrigado. Foi realmente muito legal. Então, seja muito bem-vinda. Flórida tem um fuso horário muito parecido com o nosso. A gente tem aqui, por exemplo, a Xana, como eu falei, que está em Moçambique, acho que são 6 horas à frente. A gente tem o Bruno Rabelo, que está em Israel, e o Bruno é associado do clube. E mesmo nas reuniões de noite, que são na quinta-feira, o Bruno vem também. Então, assim, se você tiver vontade, não é desculpa nenhuma estar em outro país. E a Kiko está chegando do Japão, aqui em Brasília, e espero que em breve seja nossa associada também do nosso clube, né, usando o inglês como segunda língua e o português como segunda língua.
Alessandro, eu não sei como é que eu vou ficar, porque eu estou mudando também, eu não sei exatamente como que eu vou ficar ainda com o Toast, se eu vou ficar no meu lado aqui do Rio, né, e tal, mas de qualquer maneira, eu falei para a Letéia, eu chamei minha mãe para participar, então eu acho que no final de semana que vem, que for em português, ela deve entrar, e acho que eu não vou conseguir vir na semana que vem, mas fica aí o pedido para vocês receberem. Tem que receber super bem.
Com o maior carinho.
É só que chamei mamãe para participar, ela está super empolgada.
Pode chamar. Eu vou te falar que nas reuniões da Europa, quando você acessa as reuniões da Ásia, tem várias pessoas que têm 60, 70 anos de idade. É muito legal. E eles, assim, são apaixonados pelo modelo.
Mas vai dar tudo certo. Ela nunca participou.
Que maravilha. Não, tem que vir gente de todas as idades. É um lugar muito bom. A gente gosta de receber as pessoas, ajudar elas a se desenvolver, a encontrar um caminho também, e encontrar novos amigos, mesmo que seja pela internet por enquanto. A melhor forma de ter amizade online hoje, acho que é o Toastmasters. É mais saudável, inclusive, também.